and thanks for joining us on Legacy Markets. This show is centered on the finance and the economy, and tonight we'll be shifting things up a bit with a discussion on the wealth word of the day with Legacy's analyst, Abby. Abby, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
So the wealth word of the day is stocks. Can you please tell us what stocks are?
So stocks, if I could describe it in two words, it would be forever ownership. So stocks, it's just a fractional ownership in a company. So if I could try and break it down into an example, I would say, for example, let's say we're at a party and the company is an entire birthday cake. When you buy a stock, you're actually buying a part of that company. So in other words, you're purchasing a slice of that cake. And so by you owning a slice of that cake or owning a small portion of that company, that slice is what we refer to as the stock or the share.
Okay, so that's a delicious analogy, if I may add. So just to reiterate for our viewers, so owning stock means that you are a partial owner of the company, and the more stocks you have, the more of the company you own.
Exactly. So your amount of ownership depends on how many stocks or how many slices of the cake you have. So the bigger the slice you have, the more ownership you have in that company.
So what kind of stocks are there?
There's various different stocks, but the two main ones would be common stock and preferred stock. Now with common stock, this is typically where you have persons who have common stock. They're able to vote in shareholder meetings, and they also have the chance to earn dividends. Now, if you're a preferred stockholder, meaning you have preferred stock, you don't have any rights to vote at those shareholder meetings, but you do earn a fixed dividend every year.
Okay, can you kindly explain to our viewers what a dividend is? To me, it sounds like money and payment, so can you just give us more information on that?
Yeah, so you're actually right, thinking that it's monies and what you receive, because dividends is just the monies that is paid out of the company's profit to the shareholders or to the stockholder. And so if you want to think about it, it's like a stockholder's reward for owning a piece of that company or a piece of that slice of the cake.
And you only get dividends when the company is profiting.
Yes. Well, if you're a common stockholder, then you would receive the dividends when the company earns a profit.
So are there any stocks that we can purchase here in Belize?
We do have a few options here locally in Belize. I typically like to consider these our blue chip companies. And so there's the Belize Electricity Limited. They have their own stocks. Belize Water Services Limited and Belize Telemedia Limited.
And what is the price? Like, how much would it cost the average person to buy this? Is the price the same for everyone across the board, or is there a different price?
So if you're looking at just the par value, because the par value is what the company had issued it at, what the price was initially. It's different than the market price, but looking at just the par value, the Belize Electricity Limited stocks are, you can buy it at about $2 per share. If you want Belize Water Services Limited's stocks, you would have to buy it at $1.50 per share. And if you wanted to purchase Belize Telemedia Limited stock, it would be $5 per share. And all of those are in Belize dollars.
Since these are investments or the stocks and they don't mature, how would one be able to cash in besides earning dividends?
So at least here in Belize, we don't necessarily have what we would, because typically if you wanted to cash it out, you would have to sell it on a stock exchange. Belize, we don't have that, so it's more like if I know you have the stock, I could just talk to you and try to purchase it. But we don't have it as advanced as across in the US or the other areas that have the stock exchange. And a stock exchange is just basically an area or a location where individuals or investors could buy and sell their stocks.
Okay, since we do not have a stock exchange, and you say if you know someone who has a stock, who would typically have the stock? Would we have to contact one of the shareholders, the CEOs, or just perhaps my neighbor has stock? Like, how would we go about?
We can connect you with a seller in which you can then buy it, or If you want to sell it, then we could connect you with a buyer. Yeah.
Well, that is valuable information for our viewers, especially in Belize. But let's talk more about the international scene. What are some stocks that are blooming outside of Belize, specifically in the USA?
So internationally, in the international scene, I'm pretty sure everyone has heard about Tesla and Apple. They have their own stocks, and those stocks have definitely brought them or made them more valuable through that issuance. So it's definitely grown over time. Their price per share has grown over time. And definitely if you're an investor in stocks, you can see how by the share price growing over time, you're actually becoming much more wealthier.
You mentioned reselling the stocks. Who are you reselling the stocks to?
You would be reselling it to buyers. So when you go on the stock exchange, you can then go ahead and sell your stock, and then whoever is interested in buying the stock would see that it's now listed on the exchange. I mentioned that in Belize we don't have, but in the Caribbean there are some options. We've even talked about it in the show, there's Barbados Stock Exchange, Jamaica, Trinidad, but Jamaica is the stock exchange that is more successful than the others in Caribbean. I think in 2015, they were actually recognized by Bloomberg as one of the strongest stock markets.
That is amazing. And Abby, it is crucial to remind our viewers that while trading in stocks can have a lot of benefits, financial benefits, it can also have some risk as well. So if you can go give us a bit of example about some of the risk when it comes to stocks and trading.
Yeah, so definitely trying to manage your risk is very important also. An example I could think about now would probably be that there's the possibility of that share, instead of it growing in its size, because remember I told you that with Tesla, it could actually go the other way around. So Elon Musk, sometimes he can say some outrageous things. And so let's say that causes a bad reputation for the company, and so now people start to want to pull out, and that leaves their share price to fall. So then now there's this point where you bought it at $17 US, and now it's only worth $5.
So it's definitely important for potential investors to do their research on the stock market before purchasing.
Exactly, and do your research on the company as well.
Well, Abigail, thank you so much for sharing this knowledge with us and our viewers on what stocks are. We definitely appreciate having you here today with us.
Thank you too.
When we return, we'll have some exciting conversations with a Belizean creative designer on his entrepreneurial journey.